What's up, guys? Welcome to Cage Side Connor. I am Connor. Today's video is gonna be my UFC, whatever we're calling this one, ESPN 178 or whatever the fuck. I don't even remember what the number is. Does this event even deserve a number? Is my question. UFC Apex 902. I don't fucking know. It's too much. Here's what I will propose to the UFC. We add up all of the fight night numbers throughout UFC history and then call the fight nights, UFC Fight Night 2000, whatever the fuck. At this point, that's what we'd be at. That's what I would propose. Maybe I'll do that myself. I'll go back, I'll count all the UFC fight nights, and then I will simply title my videos on what the next fight night is according to that number. I don't know. Leave it in the comments if you like that idea. I like it kind of quite a bit. Anyways, this Park, Taira versus Hunsum Park. We were supposed to get Taira versus Amir Abazi. Amir Abazi pulled out last second, and Hunsum Park filled in about a week's notice, I think. Week and a half, something like that. So good on him. Massive respect to Park for filling in here. Because this card would have sucked even more without Taira on there, and that's saying something. That's saying something indeed. Before we get into the video then, guys, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Otherwise, I will make all future UFC events only at the Apex. You don't want that, do you? Right. Let's get into the video then, guys. First fight on the card then, of course, Taira will be taking on Hunsum Park. Taira coming in at minus 135. Hunsum Park coming in at plus 275. Taira, of course, coming off that loss to Brandon Royval from late last year. Had a little while off here, which I like. I think Taira is so young in his career that it's good to take time off, especially after your first loss like that. First big war, too, in the UFC. He took some shots in that fight. He looked really good in that fight. I think, what was it? I think it was the fifth round where Brandon Royval really turned it on and he definitively won that fight. But Taira definitely hanged in there with Royval and competed and almost won. Almost walked away with the W, kept his undefeated record, but he did not. So he has one loss now and he's looking to climb his way back up the rankings, back up to that UFC title shot eventually at some point, hopefully. And I really like Taira. He's a fun guy. He does fun interviews. I love his I'm happy, thank you at the end of his post-fight wins, his victories. And yeah, he's just a fun one to watch. It's gonna be around a while. He's only 25 years old, so we got a long time to Taira here. And I kind of like this fight even more for him. Amir Abazi, pretty good. I mean, should be better than Hunsum Park. Hunsum Park, 3 wins in his UFC career thus far, 3 finishes in a row. So also undefeated. Another prospect in this flyweight division, quite honestly. Probably getting a step up in competition here a bit too early. I'm not sure he's quite ready for someone on Taira's level, but we'll see. We'll find out. Maybe he'll come out here and surprise me. I will be picking Taira probably by submission. I think at the end of the video I got a submission 4th round as my exact pick. Don't follow my exact picks, by the way. It's those are just guesses, shot in the darks. But yeah, I will go to Taira. I think I'll get the finish here at some point throughout the 5 rounds, and it's gonna be a good fight. It's an okay main event for the Apex, which isn't saying a whole lot, but it's fine. It's fine. So yeah, looking forward to the main event. Onto your co-main then, Chris Duncan versus Mateusz Rebecki. Rebecki coming in at minus 210. Duncan coming in at plus 180. Chris Duncan coming off back-to-back guillotine finishes, which is cool. Don't be silly, jump the gilly. I'm pretty sure he trains at ATT too with Dustin Poirier, or formerly where Dustin Poirier trained. I don't know if he's still going to train there now. He's retired. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Chris Duncan, pretty good fighter. Had that, I think he's most known for that crazy finish he had on Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series where he was just getting his ass beat, getting knocked down left and right. And then he came back and slammed a right hand on the guy. I forget his name. I think the guy's also in the UFC now, by the way. But slammed a right hand on the guy, knocked him out, and then finished him. I know that went viral. A lot of people saw that, and I think that's what he's most known for still. Only has 1 loss in the UFC thus far, and is on a 2-fight win streak. So he's definitely been looking good. But then Mateusz Rebecki here, coming off that crazy war, fight of the year contender against Orabaya. Which was just an insane fight. Orabaya already made his comeback from that fight. Probably came back a little too soon, but he fought in June, picked up another dub. Rebecki here went to war, got the dub. Looked great doing it. Was a fun time. He's a fun one to watch. Definitely a one of those short, stocky lightweights. Definitely a big ball of muscle, this guy, and he's definitely a fun one to watch. I will be picking Rebecca, probably by a KO. I think he'll get the dub here. I think he's just better all around than Dunkett is, and I think Rebecca's one to watch out for in this lightweight division, which is fun. We always need more blood in the lightweight division because it is the most violent division for a reason, and Rebecca will be just that if he ever cracks into that top 15. Next fight then, Esteban Riba versus Elvis Brenner. This is my most anticipated fight of this card. God, this card would be just straight trash if this fight wasn't on it. This is such a fantastic fight. Esteban Ribovic coming in at -250. Elvis Brenner coming in at +210. Esteban Ribovic, of course, coming off the loss to Nasrat from back in March, I believe this fight was. Two back-to-back Apex events for Esteban Ribovic is brutal too, especially for how entertaining this guy is. But this was a very close fight. You could argue that Ribovic actually won this fight, and of course before that he had the fight of the year contender and what pretty much was the consensus fight of the year with Daniel Zellhuber at the Sphere card. So I think he kind of bounced back a little too soon from having a war like that, and was already fighting next March. So I guess that was like a 6-month gap, but still I would have taken a little bit longer off. Elvis Brenner coming off a KO loss to Joel Alvarez, which no shame in that really. Joel Alvarez, very, very talented, moving up to welterweight now, by the way, which would be interesting to see. But back to Elvis Brenner, longtime training partner Charles Oliveira, I do believe. Coming off back-to-back losses, but it's against really good guys. Orabaya, who I just mentioned before that in the previous fight, he also has a win over Brenner, and then Joel Alvarez also has a win over Brenner now. Those are his 2 losses. But he's a very entertaining fighter. I think Charles Oliveira, but a little worse. And that should be what the fight is. I'm expecting massive fireworks here. I will go Ribovic by decision. Be my official picks for that one. I think Ribovic a bit better than Brenner, and I think he's going to learn a lot from the first loss, and at least his first loss in the UFC. And it should be a fantastic fight. If you're only going to watch one fight, I say you watch this one. Next fight then, Cara Rosa taking on Nora Cannoli. Rosa coming in at -185. Cannoli +160. I don't have too much to say on this fight, if I'm being honest. Cara Rosa, I mean, it is like the only ranked fight on this card, so I probably should have more to say on it, but UFC women's bantamweight division, not very hot, not very interesting. Cara Rosa coming off a loss to Aline Perez, which you can see by the picture did not go well for her. She got twerked on at the end, which God, that's just the fucking worst. Remember when Patty Pimlet teabagged that one guy? Who was that? Jordan Levitt. That's just despicable behavior, but it is hilarious. And then Noreen Cannoli coming off a win over Haley Crown from earlier this year. So we'll see with this one. I will go Rosa by decision. I think it's definitely going to the distance. If you're better, I would bet this fight goes the distance straight up, because probably very little chance you get a finish in this one. Next fight, then Neil Magny taking on Zaleski dos Santos. This is actually a very interesting fight. Neil Magny coming in at +160. Zaleski dos Santos coming in at a -185. I wonder what the odds makers are seeing here, because I think Neil Magny has a very good chance of winning this fight. I think he could easily get a decision win here over Zaleski dos Santos. Neil Magny coming off the loss to Carlos Prates, and maybe that's what they're seeing here. I think Neil Magny's coming off 2 knockout losses in a row. But Carlos Prates is one of the hardest hitters at welterweight, so really no shame there. And he's taking a long gap. That was at the end of last year. That was last November, so November 2024, and he hasn't fought since then. So he's not getting another fight until August 2025, which is a good layoff for him. I think taking 2 knockout losses is good to rest your chin if you're Neil Magny. Neil Magny, of course, the most winning fighter in the UFC welterweight division. I believe he has 22 wins in the UFC welterweight division, which beats GSP's 19. So Neil Magny just been doing it for a long time now. Zaleski dos Santos coming off that loss to Ninja Kiwami from earlier this year, and he was looking very good before that, so kind of derailed his trains. 2 older fighters here for sure, past their prime, definitely in the back end of their career, but I will pick Magny by decision. I think that's the route this one's going to end up going. I just think, you know, Magny's going to pressure him against the cage, do some nice clinch work, maybe get a couple takedowns in. I don't think Zaleski Dos Santos is going to get off with any big punches or kicks or anything. I could be wrong. Zaleski Dos Santos, he did spinning wheel kick Sean Strickland at one point, and that was fucking awesome. So maybe he does that to, you know, Magny. I don't know. But yeah, my official pick will be Magny by decision. Next fight, then, this one's awesome. Danny Silva versus Kevin Vallejos. We're getting that name down. That Argentinian names, those are hard to pronounce. Vallejos coming in at a minus 510. Danny Silva coming in at plus 385. This is an awesome scrap. I'll definitely be picking Vallejos here. I agree with the odds makers. I don't know if it should be that far apart. I probably would have, I don't know, maybe like minus 210 would have been more appropriate here. But whatever, nonetheless, they all think he's going to win, and I agree with them. This should be a very fun war, though. Danny Silva coming off a big win in his last fight. Vallejos also coming off a win, and Vallejos was the guy that had the very entertaining fight with Jean Silva on the Contender Series. That was the fight that got Jean Silva into the UFC, and it was a war. He went to decision with him as well, which says quite a bit, because Jean Silva was just knocking everybody out in the UFC. And Vallejos was not one of those victims. So I'm very much looking forward to that fight. A good one to kick off the card. Not a great card overall, but we'll get to my pre-fight rating pretty soon here. Here's my picks for the entire card. Again, I wouldn't follow my picks too closely, you know? Like, I got Austin Bashi sub round 1. You might just want to pick Austin Bashi by sub, you know, maybe not round 1. I don't know how accurate I'm gonna be on a lot of these. Or you can go ahead and follow all my picks and you know, test your luck, see how good I actually am. Yeah, no real interesting fights on the prelims. Felipe Burns versus Rafael is a good fight. I think that one's gonna go to decision. That'll be a good one, though. Yeah, not too much to highlight here on this UFC Apex card, as they typically aren't. Next week we're also back in the Apex, but that's a bit of a better card, and I am really looking forward to Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. I love watching that guy, so can't wait for that fight. For my pre-fight card rating here, I think we're gonna give this one definitely the lowest score of what we've given thus far. We started back at UFC 317, and there's been some bangers since then. This is definitely the worst one. I think for the pre-fight rating, I'm going to go with a solid 4.2, which isn't a solid number at all. UFC on ESPN 70, that's what we're calling this one. No, it's 71. I have 70 written here twice. That's my bad. Oh well, I'll fix that. And so yeah, 4.2 for this card. Not a good card at all. If you skipped out on it, wouldn't blame you one bit. But yeah, I will be watching it from the prelims, of course, because that's what I do. That is what I do. Love me some fights. You know, I am one of those guys that is typically like, you know, fights are better than no fights, though. So whatever, I'll take what I can get. Decent card. Yeah, 4.2 for the pre-fight card rating. I wonder if that will be the lowest for the year. Certainly next week's card will be rated a bit higher. But we'll see. We'll see how the rest of the year shakes out. I know there's some more Apex events in October, so I know we're going back to Apex next week, and then we're out for a while, and then we're back in October. So we'll see how much they stack those cards. Those would certainly be in contention for the worst cards of the year. There was a worst card earlier this year. That card where Macy Barber pulled out at the last second against Aaron Blanchfield, that card was horrible. That probably would be the actual worst card of the year thus far, and I don't know if UFC can top that for the rest of the year. Anyways, guys, that will do it for the video. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, like the video, do all that dumb shit. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. See you in the next one.